Hello students. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is fiber to fabric, we were talking about that of the wool. And in this chapter students, we have discussed that wool is actually obtained from that of the animals, especially those animals who are having fur, and those who are having fur, they used to live in a hilly regions. Second thing, that is these organisms used to provide wool. It should undergo in a different process in order to get a correct wool, students, so that we can make the woolen cloth of that. And for that, there are different steps that we should follow here. So the first one is the shearing. Second one is the scouring. Third one is the shorting. Fourth one is the dyeing. Fifth one is the combing. And sixth one is the spinning. If we talk about that of the shearing, students, so we have seen that it is that process in which we used to remove the skin or fleece of that of the sheep. And that should be one piece. Second thing that we had discussed is the shorting. In case of a shorting, we used to categorize that of the hair, that of the wool into different types. It means there are different types of a wool also we get from the sheep or from the other animals. So that should be differentiated, that should be, that are different. So we should categorize them into the small one, into the long one, fine, and that of the coarse. Then the third one, students, that after, scouring is what, students? That is after shearing we will see that of the scouring. So, okay, shearing is what? Removal of that of the fleece. Scouring is what? In which we used to keep it in the water in order that it should get all the dust and the dirt, grease and oil which is present on the fleece, it should get removed. So in order to get the clean fleece, we used to do the process of scouring. Then comes the shorting, in which we used to categorize into the long, short and fine and coarse hair. Fourth one is the dyeing. So basically the color of that of the hair is a creamy white or white or black in color. So we can provide color to it. Fifth one is combing. So it should be important that we should straighten that of the hair, that entangled hair. So that is the fifth one, that is combing. And finally, sixth one is what, student? In which we used to take the fine hair of the wool and spun it together and form the yarn, which can be used in the process of a weaving, in the process of a knitting. And basically we had classified on the basis of, it means if you look at that of the fine hair, so that should undergo the process of weaving, and if it is a long hair, then that should undergo the process of a knitting. But both of them will be used to make that of the woolen cloth. So this is how we used to do the process and we get the woolen cloth. Here we have discussed one thing, students, that occupational hazards. So what happened in the occupational hazards? So the people, those who are working in the wool industry, their livelihood used to be through that factory only, through that industry only. But while doing the shorting process, in which they used to separate the different types of fur, sometimes they get a disease, that is an animal disease, that is called as anthrax, which is a kind of a dangerous or a deadly disease, students. So that can cause to the person who do the shorting, that is called a shorter, and the disease which occurs to shorters are called shorter's disease. So the people who are working, they should be should take care of that they do it properly, so that they do not get this disease. And since this disease is occurring in their occupation, so we will call it an occupational hazard. Then we have started to understand here another thing, and that is called as the silk, student. What is a silk? Silk is the fine lustrous thread that we obtain through that of the silkworm. Here, what are the things which we have discussed earlier? Let me tell you. So, the thing which we have seen, that the silk moth used to lay egg on the mulberry leaves. Now, this egg hatches and from it a larva came out. What is the role of a larva? Larva used to take leaves. It used to eat leaf in order to grow, in order to develop, and then it grow and develop into pupa. Then what happened? It starts moving, means while converting itself from that of the larva to pupa, it starts releasing larva. It starts releasing a liquid from its mouth, and actually it starts moving its head in a making a in side by side, making a structure of a 8, and by doing so, what happens? This larva covers its whole body. Now this larva, this caterpillar will form a cocoon over it, and inside which the pupa developed. Now this, after that, when the cocoon developed, now from that of the cocoon, it get developed into the pupa, and this pupa will finally grow into that of the silk moth student. So this is how the life cycle of the silkworm occur. Now let us write all these things with the points. So what happened at first, student? That is the female silk moth. The female silk moth lay eggs on the leaves of the tree. On the leaves of the tree. Which tree? That is of the mulberry tree. Okay, on the mulberry tree. Mulberry tree. Okay, so at first the female silk moth lay eggs on that of the leaves of the mulberry tree. Then what happens? Second step, students. Now the worm like a larva came out from the egg. Worm like larva came out from egg, which we call as a larva or caterpillar. Both of the name we had given to it. Okay, so it is also called as larva, or it is also called as caterpillar, or silkworm. Caterpillar or silkworm, both the names we had given to it. The reason that why we are talking about that it is known as a silkworm, students, because we have seen that silk we obtain from the silkworm. So this is that particular stage at which from which we obtain the silk, because it is the larva only which used to it is the caterpillar only which used to release the fluid, release the liquid from its mouth, and that will help in making the silk. So we can say that it is the silkworm, it is a caterpillar which provide the silk, and that is why we had given name to it, that is silkworm. So this one is known as both, that is silkworm or that of the caterpillar. Now what happened? This silkworm, it fed or it feed that of the leaves, mulberry leaves. So it used to eat the mulberry leaves in order to grow and develop. So we can write here that the silkworm feed on leaves. Silkworm feed on leaves. Okay, it feed on leaves and grow bigger in size, and it grow bigger in size. So the silkworm, it feed on leaves and it grow bigger in size. Now the silk is formed. Now the next stage is, students, that when this silkworm is ready to develop into the next stage, and that is pupa, what happens? It starts moving its head side by side in order to give a shape of a 8, and ultimately the larva, the liquid which is released from its head, it starts covering its body. So it used to release the liquid which on exposure to air solidify, and this lustrous shiny liquid which is formed around it, that will make, or that we call as a cocoon. Okay, why they used to make the cocoon here, students? So they used to make cocoon in order to protect themselves when they grow and develop into pupa. So for their growth and development, they used to release this. They used to form the cocoon in order to protect them. So let me write here, that is fourth one is, that is when the silkworm ready to enter into the new stage or in the pupa stage, then it starts releasing then what happened? It starts releasing, then it starts releasing a liquid from its head, and on exposure to air, it gets solidify and form cocoon, and it form a silk fiber. It will completely form silk fiber. This is what silk fiber. Now this silk fiber will get covered, means it is completely cover the body of that of the silkworm. Okay, so I hope you have understood here that when it is ready to enter into the new stage, what is this new stage, student? This is the pupa stage, and then it starts releasing the liquid that is from its head, and finally that would means how it used to release. I told you that it used to move its head in the side by side, and ultimately that will help in releasing the liquid which help it to cover its body. When it release that of the liquid on exposure to that of the head, gets solidified, finally get converted into the silk fiber. Let me write here the next point which is there in that of the life history. See student, why I am writing? Because it is important. Many times the question related to the life history can be asked, or the reasoning question can be asked in between to this. So then what happened? This silk fiber covers its whole body. And the silky covering spun by the silkworm of silk moth is called cocoon. Okay, what is called as a cocoon? That silky covering which is spun, which is formed by that of the silkworm, and that we call as a cocoon, students. Okay, now this cocoon is there to protect. So cocoon helps in protecting development of pupa. So what does it mean? It means that when there is a development occurs, students, means the development of the pupa from that of the larva, it is protected by that of the cocoon. It means this development occurred inside to that of the cocoon itself. Okay, now what happened? This cocoon will continue to develop and then pupa is formed, and after the formation of the pupa, this pupa get converted. It means again that will also develop into silk moth. As it becomes silk moth, so this cocoon get break down and get removed from the body and the silk moth flies away. Okay, so this is the last step, that is what happened when the pupa develops. So I hope you have understood that the development of the pupa, it occurs in that of the cocoon itself. So when the pupa fully developed, when the pupa develops fully to form an adult silk moth, to form an adult silk moth, then the cocoon split up. Then the cocoon split up and the beautiful silk moth flies away. Beautiful silk moth comes out. Silk moth, it comes out. Okay? Okay, so the silk moth, it comes out. So this is how the life history of that of the silk moth, from that of the egg to the silk moth occur. Okay, so this is the life history of that of the silkworm, or we can say the life history of a silk moth. Now question arises that at what stage we will get the cocoon. So we do not going to wait for the silk moth to means the development of the pupa to the silk moth, but as soon as the formation of the cocoon happens, we have to remove that of the larva, the caterpillar from that of the cocoon. So we have to kill that caterpillar from that of the cocoon so that we can get the fresh cocoon. So here the question that comes in your mind, that why we are doing so, we can get the cocoon when it gets split up also. It means after the formation of the silk moth, after that also we can get that of the silk, we can get the cocoon. So why we are doing, means why we are extracting the cocoon at the caterpillar stage, why we are not waiting for the beautiful silk moth to come out. Okay, so actually there also we will get the cocoon, but that will not provide a good quality of a silk. So in order to get the good quality of a silk, we have to kill them at a larva stage only, when there is a formation of a cocoon happens. So as last as the formation of the cocoon occurs, it means when the formation of the cocoon end up, at that time we will kill it and obtain the cocoon from it. Although some of the silk moth we will leave it so that we can get the cocoon again. Okay, so and students, by doing so we have seen here that the silk moth used to lay egg on the mulberry leaves because they feed on the mulberry leaves. So not only means to obtain that of the silk, the rearing of or planting of the silk mulberry tree is also very important. Okay, so we can write here the few points, and that is in order to produce silk, silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon, inside the cocoon as pupa is not allowed to be mature. Is not allowed to mature into an adult silk moth. So in order to produce silk, what is the thing which is really important to understand here, student? That is the development of the cocoon. We should not wait it that it will get converted into silk moth, but before that we can obtain that of the silk from it. So the next point that we can write here, please write all these things on your copy. So we can write it here that as soon as cocoon is formed, as soon as the cocoon is formed, it is used to obtain silk fiber, to obtain silk fiber. It is used to obtain silk fiber, and the developing silkworm get killed, and the developing silkworm gets killed. Okay, and the developing silkworm gets killed. Okay, so as soon as we get that of the cocoon, we will see that we will obtain the silk fiber from it, and we will kill that of the silkworm. It is because as soon as development continues, then the silk moth breaks the cocoon and fly away. Breaking of cocoon can damage the silk fiber breaking of cocoon can damage the silk fibers and lowers the quality of the silk. So it is important that we should obtain it at the cocoon stage. Some of them is left so that they can develop into the silk moth, so that they can develop into the silk moth and can lay eggs on mulberry leaves, and again we can obtain silk from it. We can obtain silk from it. So this is what, student, we have seen here that what is the life history of the silk, and also when do we obtain the silk from that of the silkworm. Now moving on, and we will see here. Also, let me tell you one more thing. Mulberry, it is mulberry, student. Mulberry in Hindi we called it shehtoot. So you have heard this about this plant, shehtoot. Okay, it's a kind of a small tree on which the silkworm used to grow. Okay, or we can say the silk moth used to lay the eggs, and they used to eat the that of the leaves, and finally the formation of the cocoon happens here. Now let us move on, and we will see that okay, we have understood that from where we obtain the silk and how can we obtain the silk, at what stage we should take the silk from that of the silk moth. But okay, now we have taken the silk. Now what are the different steps that we should do in order to get that of the silk? So let us understood here that production of silk. Production of silk. So the first thing that we used to do in order to get the silk, that rearing and breeding of the silkworm is really important. Silk moth is really important. So for that, although this rearing of the silk is called as the sericulture, so in that we used to grow more and more silk moth so that we get the sufficient amount of a cocoon, and with the help of which we can obtain the silk from it. Okay. So we can say the first thing that is important here, that for that to get a good quality or to get the silk, we used to do the production of the mulberry leaves. Production of mulberry leaves. Then silkworms are reared. Silkworms are reared. Silkworms are reared, and the cocoons are collected to. The cocoons are collected to get silk fiber. In order to get the silk fiber, cocoons are also collected from it. Okay. So what are the things that we are going to describe here? So the first thing is the rearing of the silkworm. Rearing of the silkworm. Second one is, students, that is processing of cocoon. Processing of cocoons. Rearing of silkworm and processing of cocoon. And then finally making of the, I am writing it here, that is making of silk fabric. Making of a silk fabrics. So these are the few things that we will try to understand here to obtain the silk from that of the silkworm. It is really important, that is the rearing. What is the meaning of a rearing? You know that the taking care of the silkworm, and it is important, student, for the rearing in order to get a good amount of a good quantity of a silk is also important, so that we can achieve only when we do the when we take care of that of the silkworm. Then we will obtain the cocoon from the silkworm. What kind of a processing that we will do in order to get the silk from it? And finally, making of the silk fabric. So we obtain the silk from it. Now how we will make the silk fabric from it. Okay.